Hello, and welcome to the second resume writing launch video. I am excited to offer resume writing and job coaching to the general public for the first time. My name is Deborah Rizak, and I am CEO and President of We Build Strong Communities. We are a community company dedicated to building relationships and connecting employment resources to job seekers. If you missed the first video in this sequence, I encourage you to check it out. It includes some resume writing benefits available to you and a little bit about my story and how I got started. If you are someone looking for a job for the first time, maybe you're just out of high school, maybe you're a homemaker who's been raising your family and now is ready to go back to work, this service is especially interesting for you. Perhaps you're someone who has a gap in your employment history and you have been out of work for a while and want to get back into work, or perhaps doing something different that you haven't done before and want to transition to a brand new field. It can be frustrating to see on a job posting or a position description experience needed when you look at the qualifications. There are ways that we can get around that as we create your resume. I have found the solution to resume writing and cover letter and kind of cracked the code because of my background, my experience. I've been successful seeing people get jobs. They're calling me, texting me, Deborah, I got the interview, I got the job offer. There's nothing greater than that call. So in this program, will leverage that knowledge, that experience to help you understand and know what hot careers are, the trends in employment, and growth companies to align your background to the companies who are hiring at this time. You're going to really enjoy this journey with me as we create your resume. I want to share with you a job search scenario to help you understand how I demonstrate and to demonstrate some of the things that I do to help create your resume. I hope this will be useful for you. A young, soon-to-be college graduate has come to me and said, Deborah, I have a degree soon in December, and this is March. I'm going to graduate with a business management degree. I want to work as a customer service representative. I want to be a store manager. I'd like to know, I have some experience in the food industry, but I don't have any experience in retail, and that's my goal. I really want to be a store manager in a retail environment. So what are the steps that we need to take to create her resume? I'm going to actually show you a PowerPoint of the way that we break down this process for her in this scenario. At this time, I'd like to go through my resume coaching and creation process with you. This is a step-by-step proven process to creating a resume and finally getting the interview and job offer you've been looking for. Here's some tips and industry secrets that I would like to start with to set the tone and the foundation for the next several slides. First of all, always keep the focus on your skills, knowledge, and experience that will add value to the company that you're applying for. Most people make the mistake of focusing only on themselves, and they forget to do the homework and the research to shift or pivot their abilities to really add value to the company that they're applying for. So my most important tip is to do your research, go out on LinkedIn, network with the company, know other executives or directors in the department you're interested in working with, do your homework, do your research. It's so vital. Then, step 1, identify your goal. Identify both short-term and long-term goals. With your clear, concise goal in mind, you can work backward to understand and add knowledge and skills and abilities to bridge to the goal. One of the models that was created, it was called a SMART goal setting process. It was developed by George T. Duran in Spokane, Washington back in 1981. SMART, of course, is an acronym to help us add goals that are S, specific, M, measurable, A, attainable, and R, realistic or relevant, and finally, time-bound. It's a great structure to help you create goals that are really not only measurable but really attainable and keep everyone on track. So, with goals in mind and that clarity in place, step 2 is homework, review your job boards. And the reason for this is if you are working toward a longer term goal, like in my scenario, she wanted to be a store manager, was just going to complete her degree, so had educational experience, but needed more hands-on experience in the retail field. We went out to the job board. And I'd like to call your attention to go out to webuildsc.com, click on the resources tab on the left, and there you will see local, state, and national job boards. 3 of my favorites in the Green Bay area, Green Bay, Wisconsin, are the Job Center of Wisconsin website, Indeed.com, and Fox 11 online. All are searchable sites, and they let you enter your ideal position and location. With that in mind, we found out that store manager positions are requiring 1 to 3 years of experience in a retail setting. So we had to go work backward from that qualification, and now we have to identify, and she only had maybe 3 months of experience in a retail setting. So we've got some work to do to fill her experience gap. The third step is identify your passions. This is often a missed step, and I think it helps to jeopardize our long-term success. This is an important step for all to consider, regardless of age or stage of career. The question I like to ask is, what do you love to do? What do you do when you have free time? Or what do you do when you lose track of time doing it? When I asked this to the individual in my scenario, she shined with enthusiasm and said, "I love animals. Spending time with them is really what I love." What that does for our planning is I want to look for some retail experiences, maybe with PetSmart or Petco or local pet food stores that give her experience in the field that connects her to something she really, really cares about. So with all of those steps in mind, number 1, the clarity of the goal setting, doing the research on the job boards, finding your passion and the niche that you want to work in, then really what does a good quality resume look like? So let's talk about creating that resume now. The anatomy of a resume and you've probably heard of functional style, really highlighting key skill sets like communication and leadership and organizational management. That's a functional style, much more focused on those clusters of skills. Chronological, of course, is a history of what you've done, and if you've got a lot of experience, that's a great style to look at. I like to use a hybrid or a combination of both, which utilizes a summary. So the header comes first in the anatomy. Your header comes first, and what that is, of course, is your name, address, phone number, and email address. Here, I also want to say, use a professional email address. Your first and last name, maybe a number at Gmail or at Yahoo. I don't want to see Deborah loves unicorns. It's got to be something professional. All right, so having said that, that's a passion of mine, and I've seen a lot of different email addresses over the years. So the next section is a summary of your skills. It is the most critical section. It can be highly tailored to emphasize skill sets to match the job that you're applying for. No resume, no 2 resumes, no 2 job applications are ever going to be the same. This summary is really a highlight of soft skills, like communication, like reliability, like maybe it's professionalism, critical thinking. This is some of the soft skills, or it could be hard skills gained in higher education in your coursework. Next is employment experience. If you have relevant current experience is always important to highlight next. If you don't have relevant employment experience, in this case with my scenario, you'll remember she was an associate degree nearly ready to graduate. So for her, I would recommend her educational experience be right after the summary of skills or skills highlighted. Then go into her employment experience, and she does have experience in a retail environment. Although it was a summer experience, it wasn't very long. And then finally, if you're still needing more experiences, and of course, if it's relevant, you can look at volunteer experiences, perhaps hobbies, again, if it's related to your career goal or job goal, that can also be used. So one final point is in creating the resume, and I often get asked, how long should that resume be? And there's lots of answers. You'll hear from that. Some will say, oh, it has to absolutely be one page. I'm of the belief that if you have the experience and the skills and it spills into the second page, I've even seen some into the third page, but I come from higher education, and often on our search committees we saw resumes that were, and applications that were much longer. So it depends on the field, and it depends on your stage of career and your experience. So don't get locked into it's got to be one page. There's lots of other factors to continue. So I know I went through this scenario kind of quickly, but I wanted to use it to demonstrate how we can identify resources, how we can analyze career goals, and how to put it on paper. In the next video, I will be sharing more unique tips and secret ideas to help you really leverage your resume to the interview. The resume, the purpose of that is to get that interview. And once you get the interview, it's a sure bet to get the job hire. So I'm going to be talking about what do you do if you get stuck in the temp to hire cycle, where you have 3 months of work in one company and 3 months of work in another company, and all of these short-term experiences. How do you add cohesiveness to your resume with that background? So again, don't forget to add your questions, your comments, your ideas on our Facebook page. And again, I look forward to talking with you soon. Thank you and take care.